So I was having a bit of a nosy through career search insights, and I picked, reasons you might skip running today. And in it, it's like, focusing on kind of like motivation and, discipline and things like that. And some days you just need to rest. Some days you just need to rest. I think like everybody has different unique energy patterns, unique reasons. And sure, like, you might just not feel like it. For me, the last couple of days, I felt like running, and wanted to run, but my body's like, absolutely not. And yeah, and it's like I've just come off of the back of launching, a little course, 3-day workshop on like food planning skills as like an AuDHD entrepreneur and stuff. And like that's one of the key things is kind of like learning your own energy and the times when it's like, is this going to benefit me? Like doing this, or do I just need to fucking rest, man? I want to run. The motivation is there. But my body is like, no, not today. And I think this is the thing, like there's so much focus on why people won't be disciplined or motivated or all the kind of like stuff, the like push, go, go. And I think there's like a real like missing piece on when was the last time you actually listened to what you want and what you need? Like, I started working in the fitness industry way back in 2008, so like a hot minute ago. And, there's like loads of people that don't love it. But then that was kind of like where my focus a lot of the time with working with people would be like, well, what do you want to do? Like, what would you like to do to get exercise and to meet your body's needs and make you want to do it, rather than trying to force yourself to do something that you literally hate just because somebody says that you should do it. Just like, I don't know, it didn't make sense to me. But that's probably like, my, again, like autistic pattern recognition. What I like to do is think, what do I want to do? And then I'll reverse engineer it. And that's where maybe, like, I think I've spoken about it on some videos before. Sometimes I can make myself do something exercise-wise that I'm like, like that I really don't want to do, if I understand its purpose, like within the greater framework of what it is that I'm trying to do. So like, a few years ago, like I really wanted to be able to learn to surf, but I couldn't really swim. Like I could basically swim, but I couldn't like properly, like I couldn't do front crawl or anything like that. And I couldn't swim in water deeper than me. I was scared of water that was deeper than me. And therefore, like the sea and its unpredictability absolutely terrified me. So I was like, okay, so far in terms of like wanting to go surfing, we're just running on the vibes and the aesthetics. So let's circle back here. So like, long story short, like I through lockdown, when the pools and stuff opened up, I took my very basic head above the water poodle breaststroke, and I practiced until I could breaststroke, head underwater, and gathering speed and strength with it, and then eventually worked into my front crawl. And I kind of had to like move past that thing, and humble myself, where a lot of people are nervous to go to the gym, because they're worried people that will look at you and stuff. And I was like, okay, so, that's okay. Lifeguards have to look because, like, safety. Anyway, I got it done. And at the same time, that's part of the reason why I started developing my breathwork practice as well, because I wanted to know that I could hold my breath underwater if I came off the board and, it feels like you're underwater for like forever, even though it's like 5 seconds or something. So I was like, okay, if I can hold my breath underwater, hold my breath and hold my calm, then I'll feel safer, stronger, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I ended up, surfing, loved it, great. But yeah, I didn't really want to learn to swim because, I didn't want to do something that I sucked at. And I, or more recently in the last like couple of years and getting back my strength and fitness after, just burning out from the moves and the flooding and all the shit to do with that. My strength and my core strength went like way down. So I made myself do Pilates because I was like, it just bores me something crazy. But I knew it was gonna do what it needed to do. And it did, it helped. And I did 3 months of it. But I understood why. I could have done other stuff to do it, but I was like, no, this is the route I'm going to take because I think this is going to be... I think I've kind of like lost my point here. Yeah, I've definitely lost my point. But at the same time, no, I haven't. Because I guess what I'm getting at is like when you're autistic and when you're ADHD or, a lot of different, chronic illnesses and things like that, where your energy is inconsistent. It's not always a case of motivation. It takes a lot of physical and mental energy if you are sore, like I'm having a bit of a flare up at the moment. If your sleep is being impacted, like there's just so, when you've got spoons directed in so many different ways, different places, it's not always a case of, motivation or discipline. And I was like thinking about this the other day because I was talking about like I do love discipline, but when you crack that word open into the context of how I mean it, that discipline is being able to recognize and understand what you need and do that rather than showing up all the time. Because sometimes that's a fucking horrendous idea. Today, yesterday, wanted to run. No, it just would have been a really bad idea. So like I do a lot of stuff that's like alternative movement because it does help me to feel better. So on days when I'm feeling like wiped out, those are the days when I'm going to do things like, low to the ground yoga, or sometimes I will just do breath work, or I quite like somatic exercise as well, which is even more gentle than yoga. But like today, I'm just gonna chill, just read some books. So I don't know. Maybe it's not what you came here for. But, I run. I used to teach people running and stuff like that. So, yeah. Yeah.